My first symptoms, which I never even really thought about at the time, was twisting spaghetti on my fork. I noticed I couldn't do it anymore. And then at the gym, I passed out a couple of times. That's when I realised it was getting a bit more serious, and we sort of started investigating from that point on. I think it took me a while to absorb the diagnosis because I was pretty matter of fact. I was, okay, I'm diagnosed now, we'll just move on with life. I think my wife Claire hit her harder at first. And then as she seemed to process the information, it sunk in for me and I started really realising what it meant and how it was going to affect our lives.
It came as a very big shock to us when he was diagnosed with Parkinson's, because we had only ever thought of it as being something that someone in their 70s or 80s had to deal with. It wasn't until we'd done a bit of research with Parkinson's Victoria that we discovered that it was not as rare as what you would think. It just doesn't get talked about as much. We had 12 months worth of trying to figure out what was wrong with him. He had a fair bit of trouble with depression, thought that he was useless and he couldn't do his job anymore and he felt like a failure. And when he was diagnosed, we found that it was a relief for him to actually know that it was something that was, I mean, it's serious, but it was something that we could live with.
The impact on our life has been pretty dramatic. We made the decision fairly early on that I would stop working. By that stage, it had become a lot harder for me to continue working as a landscaper. And I became a house father, which is the silver lining, I guess. I worry about the future, what it's going to be like when I'm going to their graduation or something, and what sort of condition I could be in there. Now, getting to the end of the day when I'm tired and having to do dinner and that sort of thing and having to multitask with children can be a challenge. But luckily I've got a wife that swoops in to rescue me when she sees that's happening. But yeah, for me, the biggest thing that I've got to get over mentally is the future. Skateboarding started through a friend when I was 14. I've kept that up until now. It's been 30 years. It's been a release for me and I find that even more important now.
John's skateboarding has been the bane of my life forever. We've been together since I was 17. When we were younger, it was always me following him around. He's like, oh, we've got to go to the city so I can skate, and I'd be sitting there watching him and it's like, one last trick, one last trick.
Since diagnosis, I actually have been skating more because that was another thing that you let life get in the way sometimes of the things you enjoy and love because other priorities come into play. And I decided to do more of the things I love, and skateboarding was one of those things. So while I can, I want to keep skating as long as I can.
We were talking about it because when we were looking up through all of the information to help with Parkinson's, they said that dancing would be a fantastic way to, you know, help with the symptoms and all of that sort of stuff. And John said, I'm not doing that, I'll go skating instead. And he does, and it's exactly the same, really. It's balance and coordination and all of the things that they suggest are very good for Parkinson's.
When I'm skateboarding, my focus is there and now, on my board, what I'm doing. The outside world doesn't really enter. It's just gives you an escape, I guess. For me, physically, it's my preferred way to exercise because I'm having fun at the same time, yeah.
We definitely live more in the present, yeah, most definitely now. And I think that's fantastic because we don't want to waste the time that we've got with the kids, and while John's able to do things.
We didn't hide it from the kids. We told them straight away. First thing they want to know when you tell them that you've been diagnosed with this disease is, are you going to die? And then when you say you're not going to die, then it's all fine. They're happy. My youngest son the other day said, "Your life's not very good, is it, Dad?" I said, "My life's excellent. I've got you, I've got the family, and I get to spend more time with you now than I ever would have before." So, yeah, my life's great.